A lot of times people ask me what's the most important thing to teach a colt, and then I tell them nothing wrong. A lot of times we'll teach a horse something and we'll teach him 2 or 3 right things, but unintentionally we teach him 1 or 2 wrong things. Normally it's not because we're trying to teach him something wrong, we're just not prepared for what could happen. So if you teach a horse, you maybe have a horse you put the halter on maybe the first time or 2, and he pulls back and pulls away from you, or pulls you across the arena a little bit. It's not that we wanted to teach him that, but we just weren't prepared for what could happen. We didn't have enough experience with young horses to think, well, he might not do this, and what happens if he doesn't? Am I prepared for, if he doesn't do it, am I prepared to arrange it so that it's going to work? And so a lot of times what happens is the horse will maybe break a halter, pull back, or pull away from us and run off a little bit, and maybe he's still in a round pen or an arena, so we don't think anything about it. But in his mind, he's learned that if he jerks really hard, then he's going to get away and get released. And so sometimes we teach him something wrong unintentionally. It's not that we try to, but we just don't set the situation up in a manner that we make sure we can get the right outcome we want. So that would be probably the biggest thing is, in anything you do, teach them the foundation part really good and set every situation up where you can come out getting the horse to learn what you want him to learn. And that's particularly important when they're first starting out. I tell people it's kind of like a percentage. If you have a horse and you're going to saddle him and you saddle him 10 times or 20 times, and the 20th time you ride him, you fall off. It's 1 out of 20. You fall off him the first time, he's 1 for 1. It's 100%. You come off 100% of the time if you fall off on the first ride. You come off on the 20th ride, it's 1 out of 20. You fall off on the 200th ride, it's 1 out of 200. So every ride becomes less and less important. The first experiences they have are the most important, because if you mess that one up, in his mind, 100% of the time he's pulled away from you, or he's bucked away from you, or kicked the saddle off, or thrown you off, or whatever. So the first ride's the most important, and every ride becomes a little bit less important the more you do. So that's the biggest thing I'd worry about, is just kind of making sure everything goes right the first few times.